finally got my Boss block back from the machine shop. 9.5 deck, 4-inch bore. Actually, a little over a 4-inch bore. It's gonna be a 408 stroker. Need to get my cam bearings put in place today. It's one of the deals we're gonna be doing. So I got everything set out for that. They did balance my crankshaft internally. Lunati forged crankshaft. BoostLine rods. These things were not cheap, I'll tell you that much. But they should handle everything I can throw at it. And also good DSS FX series pistons. Pistons have been numbered on what bore they go in from the machine shop. And also running thicker tool steel wrist pins. So yeah, this thing can make some serious power, guys. If you like following small block Ford builds, especially a boosted build, this would be for you. Camshaft from Ed Curtis from Flowtech, custom ground for this cylinder head combination. I'm going to be running 225 high ports, PT 8891, so a lot larger exhaust side. Hopefully that should do just fine, and be heading down the track at some point. All right, I got my rear cam bearing put in place. Went fairly smooth. Definitely take a light and check your holes, make sure you can see through the other side. If not, you got some issues going on. You need to press that back out carefully if you can without messing it up. My rule of thumb is you at least want half a hole to be seen through this, top hole here. God damn it. Does not like to go in at all. Definitely stop. It's probably binding or hanging up on a burr. And we just need to loosen this guy up carefully. Now, I see daylight. It's pretty good. Now we just gotta do the rest. It spins very nice, so it should be good to go. The next thing is the very boring and time-consuming file fitting the rings. Gutter, grinder here. Got the specs I need to look up for what we need, which I have all my feeler gauges set out here. It'll be a 30 for the secondary and a 28 for my top ring. But always take your time file fitting your rings. It's easy to go past what you already needed for the spec. So I always shoot for a lower number first and just creep my way up. If I just shoot for the 28 the first time and I keep trying to feeler gauge that, I could go beyond 30 or whatnot. So yeah, always take your time. And then always after grinding on your piston rings, which I need to go through all these, you'll have a little bit of a burr on the outside here. So if you do not deburr that or check for that, once that goes in, it's just gonna score the hell out of your cylinder wall, and then you'll just have a bad day at some point. I can imagine to be like you. Got all the main bearings put in, lubed up. Also the caps are ready to go. Just got the forged crankshaft out. Sprayed off with brake clean earlier, all the holes, and took some air and pressurized through all the orifices there. But also I like using a microfiber towel to finish everything off. It's really good at picking up basically dirt you cannot see or any type of grime. Well, the crank's really nice and shined up after that microfiber towel cleaning. And got my rear main on, lubed up, and get this thing slapped in. Well, nice and easy. There we have it.
The pain and the suffering you put me through, I can't imagine to be like you. The pain and the suffering you put me through.
You guys out there that use this torque lube quite often, definitely know when you get this on your clothes or anything else, it just gets fucking everywhere. It's just like never sees, I swear. I mean, it's basically kind of seems like that. So yeah, be very careful on like I'm gonna have a hard time trying to squeeze the rest of this out. I should just buy this shit in bulk. There we go, we got some out of there. I can hardly hang on to that damn bolt. All the torque lube's on. It's messy as hell, so you know you did a good job. Tightened all my caps down, of course started from the center one and just snugged everything up. After tightening it down, of course do a little once or twice around with one finger. Make sure there's no tight spots overall. If there is, pull it apart, something's going on. This has been checked at the machine shop. I mean, it's all been wrote down on paper, but of course, assembling it yourself, you want to make sure you're doing the right thing also. Yeah, so using some good, decent, just little snap-on torque wrenches here. So this will be for the mains, the center main bolts, the studs, and this will be for the smaller outer bolts here. 35 foot-pounds for these, and 110 for the studs. So let's get to it. I usually get the pistons very well lubed up. I've of course installed them many different ways on engines over the years, but the pre-startup first start is very crucial. It'll just gouge the hell out of the cylinder wall. So definitely get enough oil on there to make sure that damage does not happen. Rings definitely move around. Always double check. And then also when you're putting the compressor on, make sure you're not pushing the ring off the groove. I've broken one set before, a long time ago. Being careless. Just walk the piston down slowly. Misplaced my tool, so a hammer will do the trick. There we go, voila. Number 5 is in. All right. Sure we got movement between the two. Well, the bottom end's put together and ready to be torqued down. My process is put one in the hole and then just snug everything down and then give a good full rotation and then go to the next piston and rod in the hole and do the same thing. Snug everything down about 20-25 foot-pounds. Make sure everything is seated real well. And then when you do a rotation, of course, make sure it's not binding or giving like a hesitant like drag through a certain spot in the rotation. Everything is smooth as can be. Of course, these ARP bolts need torque now. And let's find our torque specs here. One thing about BoostLine, they got a really nice sheet here to look at. Looks like it's 85 to 95 foot-pounds, and then of course there's our stretch that we need to have within that value. And one thing I like about these BoostLine rods, they're all serial numbered, so if something happens, you just let them know which one. Keep the sheet, of course, and they can get you another rod coming. We're halfway through, and everything's looking really good. We are just within the threshold right now. You clean it all off, air it off with some brake clean and pressurized air. Make sure there's no fuzzies anywhere. And then you clean these cylinder heads up on the deck surfaces. The cylinder heads I'll be using are TrickFlow 225 high ports. CNC, some pretty good parts in these heads for sure. A lot of guys have pushed some pretty good power out of these things. They're a mechanical roller for the spring setup. And yeah, CNC everything. 208 intake, 1.6 exhaust, the 58cc chamber. And of course, you can tell I got flat tops in this. Static compression is 13:1. And with my cam profile, I have it turned down till around 11:1. So it'd be a pretty good ripping engine, just an all motor. Then you're gonna put boost on top of that. It should not take much to really wake this thing up. And also we got the head gaskets, just an MLS head gasket, 40 thousandths thick, once it's squashed down. Also, I always use copper spray gasket. A lot of guys don't like using that at all. I mean, there's certain reasons. I have heard of them putting too much on, possibly, and basically the gasket does not have anything to really grab against the block. It just kind of slides right out under cylinder pressure. And also I've seen guys get carried away and they'll spray in between the layers and just freaking douse it down. You know, it's just dripping everywhere. That's too excessive. You just need to hang the gasket up carefully somewhere so you can get both sides sprayed down and just get a good layer of copper color on there. And that's it. Just let it sit for quite a while. I'd say half an hour minimum, so it's dry and fairly tacky. Surrounded by evil, you can't get away. Out of my way. The dark clouds that follow you, the rainy days will always find you. You may never get away. Evil comes another day. Or you live in your own hell. You're surrounded by evil. You can't get away. These get torqued to 110 foot-pounds, so I'll do that in a couple increments. Well guys, it's actually starting to look like something. After being all painted up and cylinder heads, internals all put in place, everything's coming together very nicely. Intake has been ordered and the oil pan accessories are on their way. One thing I like about these Ford racing blocks, all the freeze plugs are screw-in style, and all the oiling passages are a screw-in plug. And also the plug behind the distributor gear back there. Well, there's no distributor gear in there, but it's a 30 thousandths hole in that plug, so it sprays right on the distributor gear to save it over time and abuse from a high volume pump. Just need to get my push rods. I can put the solid lifters in, get the girdle and the rocker arms all put into place, get that all feeler gauged out to what spec they need to be at, get the oil pan and the front cover on. And I have a engine test stand in the back room, and get that thing wheeled out, put a carburetor on it just to break it in, and then put my fuel injection parts on. So if you'd like to see more of this 408 Windsor, I guess Boss 408 build, definitely like and subscribe, and you'll see more of this engine coming soon.
the suffering you put me through. I can't imagine to be like you. The pain and the suffering